Faith is the conduit through which God's power flows. It didn't have to be that way. He could have chosen righteousness or love or quite a number of other things, but God chose faith as the conduit, the pipe through which God's power flows. If you wanted to make your teaching unforgettable this week, you might go to Home Depot or someplace and get some little bitty pipes, little bitty conduits, and pass those out. Ask your people to put them someplace where they will remember, where they'll run into them, and to remember that little saying every day this week: faith is the conduit through which God's power flows. Let's look at a few cross references, and then we'll look at our main passage this week. Matthew 9:29 says, He touched their eyes and said, according to your faith. Not according to your love, not according to your righteousness, not according to your goodness, not according to your service. Jesus said, according to your faith. To the measure of your faith, it will be done for you. If you have great faith, you will see God do great things. If you do not have great faith, you will not see God do great things. And our next verse points that out. In Matthew 13:58, it says, He did not do many miracles there. Not because He didn't love them, not because He couldn't do many miracles. He did not do many miracles there because the people lacked faith. 1 John 5:4 says, everyone born of God overcomes the world. This is the victory that has overcome the world. Not our goodness, not our love, not a wide variety of other things. This is the victory that has overcome the world, even our faith. And so we want to do a bit of a deep dive into faith and what the Bible teaches about faith today. We'll be looking at the first few verses of the faith chapter. We're all familiar, I think, with the love chapter of 1 Corinthians 13. The faith chapter is Hebrews 11, and not going to get into all of it today, but the first few verses, beginning in verse 1, now faith is confidence, the new NIV has it, faith is confidence in what we hope for, and assurance about what we do not see. The old NIV had it, now faith is being sure of what we hope for and certain of what we do not see. And if you're familiar with the old King James, a lot of you, as I did, grew up listening to that King James, and a lot of that language still kind of rings in my ear. And you might remember that the King James says faith is the substance. And anytime you run across a case where one translation differs quite a bit from another, this is a good place for you to do a little deep digging into what that word means. And the first thing we do a horizontal word study, looking at this through a number of translations, and just let's do a vote. Which is the majority report? This idea of substance or this idea of assurance or confidence or being sure of? Well, the ESV says faith is the assurance of things hoped for, the convictions of things not seen. The New Living Translation says faith is the reality. Following a little closer to that idea of the King James, the substance. Faith is the reality of what we hope for. The Message is actually the most literal translation in this case. We tend to think of the Message and translations like them, paraphrases like them, we should put it, as just that, as paraphrases. But sometimes the paraphrase will get to the point better than a more strict translation, and that is the case in this case here. The fundamental fact of existence is that this trust in God, and just by the way, our English words trust and faith and believe all have the same underlying Greek word, and that is the word pistis or pistuo, depending on if it's a noun or a verb form. But they all translate the same underlying Greek word. Anyway, the fundamental fact of existence is that this trust in God, this faith, is the firm foundation. Quite a literal translation. The firm foundation under everything that makes life worth living. Let me show you what I mean from a couple of Greek Bible dictionaries. The word means to place or set under, that which is under your feet, could be translated. In general, that which underlies the apparent, hence reality. Essence, substance, that which is the basis of something, hence assurance, guarantee, or confidence. This Greek lexicon has it simply as that which has foundation and is firm. And as I thought about these words, I thought about my experience in hiking these days. And sometimes I'll try to get up a particular place, and I'll put my foot on something. And there's one idea that has to do with where I put my foot. Is it a firm foundation? And then as a result of that firm foundation, foundation is if it is a firm foundation, it will draw a feeling in me. And this word that's translated confidence has both of these ideas. It has the idea that as a result of my foundation, as a result of the fact that I'm putting my feet on a firm foundation, then I can have a feeling of confidence. And the word has both of those connotations. All right, moving along, Hebrews 11:2. This is what ancients were commended for. Let me just pause here and say I was in a Sunday school class one time out conferencing, doing conferences for Sunday school teachers, and visited a Sunday school class one day, and somebody in the class spoke up. I don't remember what the topic of the text was that day, but somebody spoke up and said, well, you know, in the Old Testament, they were saved by works, but we are saved by faith. And everybody said, oh yeah, that's right, that's right, that's right. I looked around the room, just waited a little while for anybody else to speak up, and I said, you know,